Good morning. All I can do today is wish you a joyful and a happy Christmas. I hope each one of you is blessed wherever you are, that you're with people that you love and care for. You're with people who love and care for you. And that together you can just stop for a moment and give thanks to God for those wonderful events which took place almost 2,000 years ago. Come with me for a moment. We're just outside Bethlehem and we are walking up a path. There's a stable ahead with some oil lamps burning in it, not very bright. Some people probably standing around outside, talking quietly. We just move through and we look inside just for a moment. There is a mother who has just given birth, not in the crib scenes, kneeling, probably just lying quietly, recovering from the birth. There is a child who has been taken from her and wrapped in swaddling clothes and placed, of all things, in a manger, but quite a useful cradle, just sitting there in that particular place. There is Joseph, yes, tending to Mary and also keeping an eye on the baby, making sure she's all right. Probably Anne, her mother, Mary's mother, also fussing around the baby and making sure everything is out of the way and nobody's disturbing the child. There's Eli sitting in the corner and sitting and wondering about what all this could possibly mean. People turn up. People are probably staying in the inn. They've heard about it. Shepherds come in from the field saying they've seen a strange sight, and they'll be told that this child will be there, a child born on this particular day. Others might have turned up just to see. There's something strange about a newborn child. It fills us with hope. I remember when I was a hospital chaplain going into the maternity wards just after people had given birth and they were there. And always there was that feeling of anticipation, that feeling of joy. Now, what will this child be? At the moment, lying here almost completely helpless. But given 20 years, 30 years, what will the child be? Will they be somebody who will bring great blessing to the people around them? Don't know. I have no idea. All we do know that the child is loved, the child is welcomed into this world, and always has a feeling of awe about it. Well, the feeling in Bethlehem must have been far greater than this, because God was declaring to those who came to see that this was his doing. He was the one who had arranged it. He was the one who had called the people to leave Egypt and enter into this land of Israel. He was the one who had been caring for them and looking after them through all sorts of difficulties and problems, but making sure they were established in that land. He was the one who had loved them as a firstborn child. He was the one who has blessed them with the law and with visions of himself, which are so precious to them, making them in the end the light that would enlighten the Gentiles and show the whole world what God was like. This was the God who had brought them to this position, and this was the God who now had entered into his own creation. Oh, I think Mary might have had an inkling about sufferings to come. She probably had quite a bit already in Nazareth when she was living. You know, you don't come back having been off for a 3-month holiday and come back pregnant without people starting to talk. Or they've heard stories about angels and about virgin births, but, you know, they were just stories, surely, weren't they? There couldn't be any reality in it. This was just another young girl who had become pregnant without being married. I expect Joseph had it as well, you know, from his friends who said, I don't know, Joseph, if you're not the father, don't think you should marry this young girl. She's obviously been with somebody else, you know. I think you should put her away quietly and privately if that's what you want to do. If you really love her, do it quietly. Don't make a big deal about it. Just say to her father, no, we're just going to break the marriage covenant. we're going to just stop it here. We're not going to go any further with it. But Joseph said, no, I'm going to stick with this young woman. I'm going to be with her, and we're going to be married. And I'm going to bring up the child as if it was my own. I'm going to foster the child. He will not be my natural child, but I will bring him up and I will love him, because he's the child of the woman I love. I don't understand either what it really means or what's going to come of it, but I will be with them. And I'll be with them now in Bethlehem, because we'll have to stay here for a while until Mary is able to actually travel. And I'll get a job here as a carpenter, and I'll earn some money, and we'll move out to the stable as soon as all the other pilgrims and people coming from registration have gone. We'll move out to the stable, and we get a small house here in Bethlehem until we're ready to travel again. Oh yes, she'd been through some suffering, and I'm sure she had an inkling as well of what might be coming, because God doesn't do things in our lives without warning us and showing us some things we may have to go through. But you and I, well, we just stand then in the stable for a moment, filled with awe, and we thank God because his plan is being fulfilled. His purposes are being worked out. The patterns are again emerging. On the great Feast of Tabernacles, he has come to tabernacle with his people. Amen.